China, the 1920s. It's a world just crackling with change. And you picture the international settlement, this peculiar island of European life sort of grafted onto the Chinese mainland.
Exactly. It wasn't just different. It was this concentrated clash of worlds.
Yeah.
You had these white Russian refugees, totally uprooted by the revolution,
Right.
living right alongside established European powers, and a Chinese population that was becoming increasingly aware of its own strength.
That closeness must have created such a unique dynamic, volatile too, I imagine.
Oh, absolutely. Really volatile.
So to explore this complex moment, we've been immersing ourselves in excerpts from Kate Furnivall's The Russian Concubine.
Right. And it's fiction, but it's important to remember Furnivall drew really heavily from her own mother's experiences as a refugee in China.
So while the characters, the specific events are imagined, they really resonate, don't they? They feel grounded in the real human stories of that time.
They absolutely do. And our aim here isn't some dry history lesson.
Yeah.
It's more about using these vivid fictional glimpses to understand how individuals, real people, navigated these intense personal struggles against this huge backdrop of historical shifts.
We're talking about the ripple effects from the Russian Revolution.
The growing friction between foreigners and the Chinese people.
And all those political factions vying for control.
Exactly. It's a lot to unpack.
Okay, so let's dive in. The excerpts, they immediately throw us into this raw anxiety of displacement.
Yeah, straight away.
We meet Valentina and Jens Friis white Russian refugees with their young daughter, Lydia.
And even something as simple as keeping a child quiet. It's not just about manners, is it? It's sheer necessity.
That's what's so striking, this pervasive fear where silence is literally a survival mechanism.
It's not just avoiding inconvenience. It's about evading danger. Bolshevik soldiers.
And Jens's bitterness towards that officer, the one in the green greatcoat.
It's more than personal, you feel. It represents those deep wounds from the revolution, the resentment of losing absolutely everything.
That's right. And then we get that really stark image on the train.
Oh, yeah.
Soldiers just stripping away the few possessions people had left.
It just highlights the utter vulnerability, doesn't it? The complete loss of agency.
They've lost their homes, their country.
And now even these meager belongings are being taken. It's not just material loss. It feels like a stripping away of dignity itself.
Precisely. Now, the narrative, it shifts quite abruptly, doesn't it, to the Junchow market.
Seen through the eyes of an unnamed Englishman.
And the contrast hits you immediately. It's not just sights and smells. It's a fundamental.
He can appreciate the artistry of, like, early Qing dynasty artifacts.
Calls them perfect creations.
Right. But then he's completely repulsed by what he calls the foulest filth of the crowded market.
It feels like more than just a cultural difference. It points to that colonial mindset, maybe, imposing their own standards.
Yeah, imposing standards of cleanliness, order onto a reality that's just vastly different.
And Furnivall's details the crush of bodies, that sweat-soaked mule train.
The smells, even the description of the muleteer, the grinning but stinking one.
It just brings that cultural chasm to life, doesn't it?
It really does. It wasn't just intellectual. For some foreigners, it was a really visceral experience of otherness.
Then we see young Lydia again. This time she's making a nab, stealing.
Yeah.
And she only feels safe once she gets back to Copper Street.
That tells you so much about her existence, how precarious it is.
For a child to have to steal just to survive, it speaks volumes, really.
It really does. Her resourcefulness is born out of pure necessity. It highlights the harsh realities these displaced families face.
And that sick churning in her stomach afterwards. It's not just guilt, is it?
No, it's fear. Fear of getting caught, the consequences in this volatile place where survival isn't guaranteed. Copper Street is like a relative haven for her.
A place she feels a bit less exposed, maybe.
Exactly. Then we see her interacting with Mr. Lulu, the Chinese shopkeeper.
In the international settlement, it's a fascinating exchange.
So much unspoken understanding. Subtle power plays.
Even in what seems like a simple transaction, you see the complexities of their different positions.
And the way they communicate, it's quite veiled. Mr. Liu mentions the Sundowball at Mackenzie Hall.
And Lydia talks about its elegance.
Which just highlights that stark contrast, doesn't it? Between the settlement's opulence and the troubled times Lydia mentioned.
It's not just polite chat, it's a subtle nod to the different worlds they live in.
Precisely. And then the real reason she's there, the stolen watch.
Ah, yes. The description of it, the implied smell of money, It just underscores the desperate economic reality driving her actions.
That little watch is like a potential lifeline in all this uncertainty.
Right.
And Mr. Liu, his carefully hidden flash of desire, it reveals that underlying power dynamic.
He knows its value, and he probably guesses the desperation behind it.
But Lydia, despite her age, she's learned how to navigate these things. Ready for his little tricks, it says. Shows her resilience.
Definitely resilient. And this contrast, the danger outside versus the perceived safety inside the settlement, it comes up again with that brief scene, the Bentley stuck in the street.
Oh yeah, that's a perfect little snapshot.
That disconnect between the foreign elite and the everyday reality of China.
It captures the friction perfectly. The man in the Bentley, used to privilege, control.
Just impatient, completely unaware of the street realities.
It's like a microcosm of that broader colonial attitude, expecting deference, blind to what the local population is dealing with.
And then a much more direct confrontation. Lydia gets verbally abused in Chinese.
By that scrawny man who spits at her.
Even though she doesn't understand the words, the insult, the intent is brutally clear.
It's a stark reminder, isn't it, that even within China, Lydia, as a foreign child, could be a target for resentment.
Absolutely. It goes beyond language. The aggression, the spitting. It's raw animosity towards her as an outsider.
It highlights that undercurrent of tension, the resentment simmering between some Chinese people and the foreign presence, regardless of individual circumstances.
Okay, shifting focus slightly. We meet Theo Willoughby, the school headmaster.
Testing his students.
And through his eyes, we get insights into those colonial attitudes towards education, towards Chinese culture.
Even in a history test, right? These dynamics are at play.
Theo, focusing on macadamized roads, the introduction of the rickshaw, it reveals a subtly Eurocentric view of history, maybe.
It feels that way. But importantly, he disapproves of Christopher Mason's dismissal of Chinese history.
That's significant. Theo values Chinese culture, which sets him apart from some of his peers who just saw China as a place for their own ends.
Yeah, and his preference for mothers collecting their kids personally.
What do you make of that?
Well, it speaks to his traditional values, perhaps, maybe a subtle critique of the more westernized, less hands-on approach of some foreign mothers in the settlement. It hints at a clash of social norms even within the foreign community.
Interesting. What's also key is Theo's personal connection to China. He sees it as home, a refuge.
That personal investment definitely shapes his perspective. It explains partly why he has a more nuanced view compared to those just seeing it as a temporary opportunity.
We also meet Li Mei, his Chinese companion.
And her observation about Theo's journalist friend, Mr. Parker.
That he seems too English and might be in danger because of it.
That's quite insightful, isn't it? It suggests she has this keen awareness of the local environment, the potential dangers for foreigners who don't adapt.
Exactly. Li Mei's comment points to that crucial need for cultural intelligence. Her feeling that Alfred lacks awareness of local sensitivities, potential threats.
It underscores how important understanding the nuances of Chinese society was back then. Her concern for him really contrasts with how she sees Theo, who seems more attuned.
Moving on, we get a glimpse into Lydia's inner world, her fading memories of her father.
And her fear of losing them completely.
It humanizes her, doesn't it? Amidst all the harshness she faces. The fragility of memory when you face trauma. That's a powerful theme.
It absolutely is. Despite her street smarts, her resilience for survival, she carries this huge emotional burden from her past.
The fear of her father just slipping away. It really underscores the profound impact of displacement, of loss on her young life.
Yeah. Then we encounter Antoine.
The charming Frenchman. Won a car playing cards.
And Lydia's youthful admiration, the most handsome man she'd ever met. It's a brief moment of lightness.
A reminder that even with all the hardship, there are still these moments of, youthful wonder.
Antoine represents a different side of the foreign community, doesn't he? Maybe more privileged, carefree.
In Lydia's innocent admiration, it highlights her longing for a life free from all that anxiety, that poverty and displacement. A glimpse of another kind of life.
Right. The narrative then shifts again to a pretty tense gathering at the Ulysses Club.
The discussion turns to extraterritoriality, the nationalists.
It gives us a snapshot of the political undercurrents swirling within the foreign community. These weren't just social get-togethers.
No, they were often places for intense debate about China's future, the role of foreign powers.
And this scene gives crucial insight into those political fault lines within the settlement. The debate over extraterritoriality, that Legal exemption for foreigners was a huge point of contention.
A symbol of unequal power.
Exactly. And mentioning the nationalists hints at that growing Chinese resistance to foreign influence.
Then you have Theo and Alfred with their starkly different views on the role of foreigners.
Followed by Mason's racist slur aimed at Theo.
Which just reveals the deep-seated prejudices that existed. It wasn't some unified foreign community.
Not at all. Riddled with internal conflicts, biases. Mason's remark isn't just personal. It reflects the prevalent racism, the social pushback against anyone showing sympathy towards the Chinese.
And the contrast between Theo and Alfred highlights those ideological divisions about why they were even there, their responsibilities in China.
Then the tension really ramps up when Mason threatens Theo's school.
That reveals the power dynamics, doesn't it? Mason, with his influence, could control Theo's livelihood.
Underscoring the precarious position of anyone who didn't toe the line with the prevailing colonial attitudes.
Exactly. Mason trying to control Polly's education, that veiled threat. It demonstrates the power imbalances inherent in that colonial system. People in charge could exert huge pressure.
Limiting dissent, reinforcing the existing structures.
There's also that intriguing moment where Theo observes the Russian woman in the blue gown.
And compares her internally to Li Mei.
Revealing his preference for what he calls Li Mei's untouched sexuality.
It's a complex observation. It hints at a potential rejection of certain Western ideals of femininity, maybe. A different kind of appreciation for Li Mei.
It offers a glimpse into his evolving feelings, his deeper connection with Li Mei. His preference for her perceived purity over the maybe artifice of the Western woman suggests something more profound, perhaps less objectifying.
Reflecting his deeper immersion in Chinese culture.
Then we see Valentina's financial desperation again, Lydia trying to comfort her about a dress they can't afford.
It's poignant. A reminder of the economic hardship the refugees faced, even surrounded by the settlement's relative wealth.
Their struggle for basic things really highlights the human cost of being displaced.
This scene just underscores that precarious economic situation for the Russian refugees. Valentina wanting something beautiful despite their poverty. Lydia's empathy. It shows their bond. A personal story reflecting that wider vulnerability.
Then Lydia's encounter with the officer at the club.
And her thoughts afterward about the Chinese protector who asked for nothing.
Leading to that really powerful question. Why would a Chinese hawk want to rescue a Fanky sparrow?
That's pivotal, isn't it? It marks a shift in her understanding of relationships, motivations, questioning the expected transactional nature of things.
Her realization that the Chinese protector asked for nothing in return contrasts so sharply with the implied expectations of the European officer.
It sparks a deeper thought about motives, starts challenging her assumptions about the different communities around her. That Fanky sparrow metaphor is so poignant, captures her sense of being an outsider in need.
Elsewhere, Theo observes a man in meditation, possibly Feng Tu Hong.
While Lydia notices an article about Captain de Havilland's record flight.
These seemingly separate details just paint a richer picture of their world. Ancient traditions, modern advancements, all coexisting.
These small details contribute to that vibrant tapestry of the setting. Theo's observation hints at powerful local figures, different cultural practices.
While Lydia knowing about the flight connects them to global events, the rapid technological change of the time.
Then that cryptic conversation Lydia overhears about providing everything anyone could want.
And the retort that your everything soils the human soul.
Ooh, yeah. That hints at a darker side, doesn't it? A corrupting underbelly to this glamorous world suggests pursuing wealth and pleasure might have a significant moral cost.
Exactly. Introduces moral ambiguity. Maybe the opium trade, other illicit stuff that thrived in that environment. A reminder that the settlement's opulence was often built on exploitation, moral compromise.
And then, boom, the drama of the stolen necklace.
Lydia finds it, followed by that sudden, forceful police raid.
It's a moment where that fragile veneer of order just cracks wide open, reveals the underlying tensions, the power of the authorities.
The description of the raid, a dark tidal wave, really conveys its suddenness, its force.
And the figure in black and white finery signifies that authority being exerted, disrupting everything, highlighting the ever-present threat of intervention.
Chang An Lo escapes during this.
And his thoughts, calling it a barbarian invasion.
That reveals his deep-seated nationalism, his resentment of the foreign presence. It wasn't just a personal escape for him.
No, it was a reaction to what he saw as an occupation. His visceral reaction underscores those nationalist feelings simmering just beneath the surface, rejection of foreign control.
But even in that moment, his thoughts are consumed by Lydia, this intense connection.
It's a powerful illustration, isn't it? How personal feelings get tangled up with these broader political and social realities.
It is. Chang's profound, almost immediate connection with Lydia, despite their backgrounds, the dangers. It highlights the complexity of human relationships and conflict, his feeling of his soul being tied to hers. It suggests a bond transcending those divides.
Then the confrontation with the dog, the man with the gun.
It highlights the brutal reality Chang faces daily.
And his resignation, his regret at leaving Lydia. It speaks to the danger, the personal sacrifices involved in his life.
The scene just underscores the constant threat of violence, the harsh choices he has to make. His swift action, accepting the consequences but regretting leaving Lydia, emphasizes the personal stakes in his struggle and his deep feelings for her.
Back with Lydia, we hear her mother discouraging any thoughts of England.
Insisting Lydia's mother tongue is English, that Russia is Finnish.
It reveals Valentina's desire to just sever ties with their painful past, forge a new identity. It feels like a common reaction for people who've experienced that level of loss and displacement.
Exactly. Valentina forcefully rejecting their Russian heritage, insisting on Lydia's English identity. It's a manifestation of the trauma she's endured, a desperate attempt to create stability, belonging for her daughter in this new world.
A psychological defense against the pain of the past.
Then Polly's strong reaction to Lydia's situation and her reluctance to help.
It hints at some underlying tension, maybe fear. Perhaps Lydia's troubles are getting too dangerous for Polly to be involved.
Yeah, Polly's reaction suggests Lydia's problems are becoming more serious, maybe carrying wider social consequences. Her hesitation to involve her father likely stems from knowing how he might react, or the dangers of his interference.
Then Lydia encounters the starving Chinese woman and her children.
That forces her to confront the stark poverty just outside the settlement's relative comfort, a jarring reminder of the vast inequalities.
This encounter is a stark reminder of the social stratification back then. Lydia, usually avoiding such sights, highlights a deliberate attempt to insulate herself from the harsh realities much of the Chinese population faced, realities the settlement often ignored.
But then, that significant connection with Chang starts to develop.
The silent communication, holding hands.
It speaks to a bond that goes beyond language, beyond circumstance.
The silence, the focus on physical connection. It underscores a deep, unspoken understanding between them, and revealing his full name, Chang An Lo, marks a deepening of their intimacy, their trust.
They're meeting at Lizard Creek, Chang explaining why the river's polluted.
The small details Lydia notices about him, like the hole in his shoe, his hidden fiery hair.
They all build this more intimate, complex picture of him. They're not just random details. They humanize him beyond just a political label.
Precisely. These details give a more grounded, personal glimpse into his life, his awareness of social and environmental issues. Lydia's observations highlight his vulnerability, his connection to the land.
And Chang's hatred of the foreign gunboats, the exploitation he sees, it really solidifies his nationalist stance. It's not vague, it's rooted in direct observation of injustice.
Exactly. His anger isn't abstract. It comes from seeing firsthand the power and exploitation wielded by foreign interests. That personal experience fuels his convictions, his desire for change.
His seeking information from Tanhua, offering a salmon instead of money.
It shows the resourcefulness of those local networks, the different kinds of currency and exchange outside the formal economy.
Yeah, illustrates those informal economies, the systems of mutual support within the local community. Trust and bartered goods, sometimes worth more than cash.
Back with Theo and Alfred, playing chess.
Their contrasting views on China are highlighted again.
And Theo asking Alfred to investigate Mason suggests growing suspicion, maybe a sense of danger. The chess game feels like a metaphor for the strategic, often adversarial relationships.
It does. And Theo's unwavering faith in the Chinese people, despite Alfred's skepticism.
It really underscores his deep connection to the country. He doesn't just live there, he has genuine belief in its people.
Precisely. Theo's optimism, contrasting with Alfred's more cynical colonial outlook, highlights his unique perspective as a foreigner who's formed real connections, has a deeper appreciation.
Now, Lydia's intense attachment to the rabbit she names Sun Yat-sen.
That's symbolic, isn't it? Her yearning for a new life, maybe aligning with revolutionary ideals?
It seems so. That symbolic naming reveals her emerging political awareness, her hopes for a different future, and her disappointment when Chang doesn't show up.
It reveals the depth of her personal feelings for him, her personal longings getting intertwined with these broader societal changes.
Then we see Lydia hiding in Mrs. Arya's yard while Valentina has nightmares.
These parallel moments highlight their ongoing anxieties, the emotional scars they both carry, grappling with different kinds of fear, uncertainty.
They underscore that pervasive sense of unease, the psychological toll of their experiences. Lydia seeking refuge from immediate danger, Valentina haunted by past trauma, both reflecting the instability of their lives.
And then Lydia's realization that Chang might be a thief, that he might have stolen the necklace himself.
Oof. That's a painful betrayal, or at least a perceived one.
It shatters the trust she was starting to build, forces her to confront the possibility that even kindness might have ulterior motives.
Exactly. It's a significant blow for Lydia, who saw Chang as a source of connection, maybe even safety. The possibility of betrayal re-emphasizes her vulnerability, the difficulty of knowing who to trust.
Which leads to her desperate attempt to manipulate Alfred, stealing his wallet.
And then pretending to seek God's peace.
It's a risky move, born out of desperation. Shows her quick thinking, her willingness to take unconventional steps to survive.
It's audacious, reveals her sharp intelligence, her willingness to take big risks when cornered. The feigned religious fervor is a clever tactic to deflect suspicion, highlighting her adaptability.
But then Mr. Parker's reaction, his unexpected kindness, his questions about her past.
It complicates her perception of him, doesn't it? Maybe there's more to him than she thought. Suggests even within that foreign community there were layers, unexpected empathy.
Exactly. Alfred's reaction introduces surprise, suggests he might have a deeper understanding, a more compassionate side than Lydia initially saw, challenges her assumptions.
Lydia then confronts Alfred directly about the stolen watch.
Showing her growing assertiveness, she's not backing down, she wants answers.
Her directness signifies a shift. She's not just passively reacting anymore. She's taking a more active role in seeking truth, demanding accountability.
Meanwhile, Chang is in hiding, filled with these conflicting emotions.
Hatred for the foreigners, the Fanqui invaders, but also his feelings for Lydia.
It's a powerful internal struggle. His feelings for Lydia complicate his nationalist fervor.
This internal conflict highlights the complexities of his identity, his emotions. His deep resentment towards foreign oppression clashes with his personal feelings for Lydia, illustrating the human cost of these ideological divides.
Then the violent attack on the cellar where he's hiding.
A boy is killed. Chang barely escapes through a hatch.
It just underscores the constant danger they live in, the brutal reality of the political unrest. The violence isn't just background noise, it's an ever-present threat.
That brutal event underscores the high stakes, the inherent dangers for anyone involved in resistance. The loss of life highlights the human cost of the turmoil.
Then Lydia confronts Countess Serova about Chiang Kai-shek.
Which reveals her growing political awareness, likely influenced by Chang.
Right, and the strained interaction between Valentina and the Countess, it hints at some complicated history or differing loyalties within the Russian émigré community itself.
Lydia's outspoken criticism shows her developing political consciousness. The awkward exchange suggests potential divisions or past conflicts among the refugees. Shared displacement doesn't erase existing social dynamics.
And when Lydia accuses Chang about the necklace later, his reaction, he laughs.
It's enigmatic, isn't it? Suggests there's more to the story. His motives aren't what she assumes, creates mystery around him.
It does imply the situation is more complex than Lydia understands, that his actions might not be simple theft.
Then there's Polly's seemingly innocent interaction with Valentina and Lydia.
You can't help wondering, does she know more than she's saying? In this environment, everyone's actions seem potentially loaded.
Exactly. In such a climate of uncertainty, potential danger, even innocent interactions can look suspicious. Highlights the atmosphere of mistrust, the sense everyone might have hidden agendas.
Which leads Lydia to snoop in Polly's father's study.
Finds his diary, notes the date of a concert.
It shows her determination to uncover secrets, maybe about the necklace, maybe something else. She's actively seeking information to understand this complex web around her.
Lydia's actions underscore her growing resourcefulness, her proactive approach. Exploring Mason's private space signifies her suspicion of him, her determination to find answers.
Then you have Mason's strictness with Polly contrasted with Chang's passionate beliefs about equality.
It highlights that vast ideological gulf between these different worlds coexisting in China, a microcosm of the larger conflicts.
Exactly. Mason's authoritarianism reflecting traditional hierarchies, Chang's socialist ideals representing that burgeoning revolutionary spirit. The demand for a more equitable society.
The farewell between Chang and Lydia. It's described with such sensory detail.
Rain, her scent, his touch.
It really emphasizes the depth of their connection, the pain of separation. Their bond transcends the political turmoil.
The focus on sensory details creates such a powerful emotional moment, underscores the profound connection they forged. Chang's internal struggle highlights the difficulty of separating personal feelings from political duty.
But then they argue about Alfred's views on China's future.
Brings their differing ideologies sharply into focus. Lydia's more Western perspective clashes with Chang's fervent nationalism.
It highlights the challenges in their relationship, given their different backgrounds and beliefs.
Yeah.
A potential point of conflict.
Then there's Theo. His involvement in something dangerous. Drug trafficking is implied.
It seems likely. His reliance on Mason, his anxiety, the patrol boat intercepting his junk, it all points to him being in serious trouble, caught in the crossfire.
Theo's predicament highlights the dangers of navigating that complex, often corrupt political landscape. Depending on untrustworthy people, the interception suggests he's entangled in something way beyond his control.
And his exhaustion, his thoughts about Limay, his school. They reveal his internal conflict, the personal cost of his choices, torn between responsibilities, desires, and this dangerous path.
Exactly. His internal reflections underscore the personal sacrifices, the emotional toll. Limay and his school represent conflicting priorities, the potential losses he faces.
Back to Lydia, her actions in the police lineup for the necklace, identifying a man, number 4.
Despite claiming there was no face at the window.
And then claiming she made it up.
Which leads to the Chinese police taking over, and Mr. Liu's ominous words and actions. It suggests a really dangerous game is being played, and Lydia is caught right in the middle. Her motive for changing her story is unclear, but it likely involves protecting someone. Maybe Chang.
Her sudden change of testimony is a huge turning point. Hints at hidden loyalties or a calculated risk. Mr. Liu's reaction underscores the potential dangers, the shifting power dynamics.
Lydia then relentlessly searches for Chang.
And there's that encounter with the storyteller who seems to watch her intently.
Creates this sense of unease, doesn't it? The feeling she's being observed, maybe manipulated, but her determination overrides the risks.
Her unwavering pursuit, despite the potential dangers, highlights her commitment. The storyteller adds suspense, suggesting she's being watched. Her search might be attracting unwanted attention.
Then Lydia returns the stolen watch to Alfred.
Surprising gesture. Why do you think she does it? Guilt? Strategy?
It's ambiguous, isn't it? Could be remorse, a calculated move, maybe a sign of a changing moral compass. But it definitely shakes Alfred. He recognizes the significance, whatever her motive.
They have that quiet reunion at Lizard Creek.
Chang is reluctant to share details about himself.
Emphasizes the danger they're in, his desire to protect her. Their connection persists despite the threats.
Their hushed meeting underscores the need for secrecy. Chang's reticence reveals his concern for her safety, highlighting the risks tied to their relationship.
Chang attending the funeral banquet for Yusheng.
And his promise to Yusheng's father about the printing press.
Shows his commitment to the cause, to his comrade's memory. Even in mourning, his revolutionary spirit is there. His protective thoughts towards Lydia reveal those personal stakes intertwined with his political ideals.
Lydia's interaction with Feng Tuhong is wary, polite, but cautious.
She clearly recognizes his power, the potential danger he represents. It's like a cautious dance around someone very dangerous.
Her cautious demeanor reflects her understanding of his influence, the potential consequences of any misstep, highlights her growing awareness of the complex power dynamics.
Then Valentina's descent into alcoholism becomes more pronounced.
That brief moment of wanting to change, cutting her hair, throwing out vodka.
Followed quickly by the relapse. It paints this picture of deep emotional turmoil, her struggle to cope.
And Lydia's desperate offer to become a dance hostess. It underscores just how severe their situation has become.
Valentina's erratic behavior, her struggle with alcohol, reveal the profound impact of past trauma, her inability to cope. Lydia's desperate offer highlights the extreme measures she'd consider for survival.
We see a young Russian man observing Lydia dancing.
And Alfred's awkward, overly cheerful conversation with her about her studies, especially Russia. His negative views on Soviet Russia come through.
These moments highlight Lydia's emerging independence and those differing perspectives on Russia within the foreign community. Alfred's discomfort suggests his own internal conflicts, maybe anxieties.
Chang feeling Yusheng's presence.
Then Feng confronts him about the price for his son's release, another printing press.
Which leads to Chang's violent defiance. He demands Feng guarantee the girl's safety, Lydia's.
It sets up this tense confrontation where Chang risks everything for her. His loyalty to his comrade and his feelings for Lydia are completely intertwined. He stands up to Feng.
Feng reluctantly agrees, but the threat against those who fail him is clear. And then Chang is attacked.
High stakes. Back with Lydia, she's anxiously waiting for news of Chang.
Madame Camellia describes the political violence, the executions.
It creates this sense of foreboding, highlights the dangerous climate. The violence isn't abstract. It has real consequences, especially for young people. Lydia's anxiety reflects that uncertainty about Chang's fate.
The disappearance of Feng's men, the snakes.
Leads Lydia to believe Chang is still somehow protecting her, offers a glimmer of hope.
The absence of Feng's men provides that small reassurance, bolsters her belief in Chang's ability to safeguard her, even from afar.
Lydia observes her mother's drinking, her growing resentment towards Alfred.
Highlights the increasing emotional distance, her awareness of Alfred's insensitivity, his blindness to their true feelings. The relationship breakdown is clear.
Then Mrs. Zaria's surprise at Lydia's guilt, a captured rat, but also her unexpected kindness.
Contrasted with Theo's declining health, his struggle to focus of school.
These small moments show unexpected compassion, but also suggest the personal toll the dangerous secrets are taking on Theo. His deteriorating health reflects that physical and emotional burden.
Theo tries to downplay the danger of Feng's agreement.
But Lydia's intuition tells her otherwise. And then Theo's reliance on opium is described in detail.
Paints a picture of denial, addiction. Lydia's instincts are like a warning sign. Theo's opium use clearly indicates his desperation, his inability to cope. His attempt to minimize danger contrasts with Lydia's sharp intuition,
Which leads Lydia to try and blackmail Alfred.
revealing she knows about his affair with Valentina.
It's a desperate act, fueled by her precarious situation, her knowledge of his secrets. A high-stakes gamble for survival. Her bold move underscores her resourcefulness, her willingness to take extreme measures.
Lydia then seeks help from Lev Popkov, speaking to him in Russian.
She witnesses a brutal dogfight near him.
Introduces this new, potentially dangerous ally, foreshadows the violence around them. Lev's imposing presence suggests he's a force to be reckoned with. Turning to him signifies a shift in her strategy.
Then Mr. Willoughby detains her after school.
And separately, she witnesses Lev in a confrontation, drawing a weapon against a Chinese man with a knife.
Reinforces the threats she faces constantly within the seemingly safe school and in the outside world. These incidents underscore her vulnerability, the need for vigilance.
Valentina just dismisses Lydia's concerns about her relationships.
Reveals that growing disconnect between them, perhaps fueled by Valentina's own struggles. The lack of communication isolates Lydia further. Lydia buries a jar of personal mementos near Lizard Creek.
A symbolic act. Remembrance. Farewell.
And she senses Chang's presence in the woods. It's poignant, preserving her past, facing an uncertain future, but feeling that connection still.
Then Alexei Serov, her brother figure, unexpectedly provides some comfort.
While Theo has disturbing daydreams about Mason.
And Theo and Alfred discuss Alfred's new house, his upcoming marriage to Valentina, explicitly without Polly. Alfred seems concerned about Polly staying alone, but it feels inadequate.
These moments show unexpected kindness from Alexei, but growing unease around Theo, and hints of potential neglect or betrayal concerning Polly.
And then the wedding celebration for Alfred and Valentina.
Dramatically interrupted by Lev Popkov.
His violent outburst, Lydia intervening, and then his surprising departure with tears in his eyes.
And in the chaos, Lydia remembers Tanwa's word. Caulfield. A crucial clue, the past crashing right into the present. Lev's intervention is a major turning point.
Lydia confronts Lev later about his abrupt departure, the return money. She feels betrayed.
But her persistence pays off. She goes to the Caulfield Trading Company.
Finds it abandoned. But she doesn't give up. She searches relentlessly in the rain, with Lev helping her now. Underscores her determination.
And they find him, Chang, sick, injured in a shed.
The description is stark. High fever, serious wounds, maggots in his hands.
Lev's pragmatic approach, just deal with the maggots, contrasts sharply with Lydia's tender care, reveals their different ways of responding to this brutal reality.
Elsewhere, Theo is angry, determined to stay away from opium. He confronts Mason and Anthea.
Polly is concerned about her rabbit, son Yatsen.
And Theo makes a promise to Li Mei give up opium if she stays with him.
These moments suggest a desire for change, for connection amidst all the turmoil, hope for a better future.
Jane's recovery is slow. Fragmented memories.
He eventually recognizes Lydia. His fever causes distorted perceptions, anxieties, fear of servants.
It's a fragile, difficult reunion, marked by the trauma he's endured. But his fierce love for Lydia, his internal struggle, comes through.
Meanwhile, Theo witnesses Feng's brutal display of power executing the Junk's crew.
He recognizes the woman who gave him Yiwei, the drug.
A stark reminder of the ruthless power dynamics, the human cost. Forces Theo to confront the true nature of these forces. It's a brutal awakening.
Then Feng demands Li Mei in exchange for Theo's life.
And Theo defiantly refuses, declares his love for her.
A powerful display of courage, love in the face of extreme danger. His love for Li Mei outweighs his fear, a testament to his commitment.
Back to Lydia finding Chang Liev helped her. His reason. For you.
And then the stunning revelation. Liev knew Lydia's grandfather, General Nikolai Sergei Ivanov. He salutes her.
Introduces this significant link to her past, just as a bomb explodes nearby. Her family history is more intertwined with this conflict than she knew, underscores the ever-present danger.
Lydia rushes home, finds Polly in the bedroom with Chang, holding a carving knife.
Lydia urgently warns Polly to stay silent, a moment of immediate danger.
She then cares for Chang in her own bed. He awakens, their connection feels intimate, highlights the deepening trust between them.
Lydia reflects internally on her relationship with Chang, her changing feelings.
They have to move into the shed to avoid discovery. He's weak, she's concerned, and Chang fears putting her in danger because of Po Chu. Their love is constantly tested by the circumstances.
Valentina remarks about the room smelling odd.
Chang tells Lydia to cover their tracks. They escape during a heavy snowfall.
A desperate flight, fueled by their bond. Lydia's determination, her growing love. It becomes a source of strength in their perilous journey.
But Alfred finds them, insists Lydia return home.
A forced separation, Theo observes. Li Mei understands and supports Chang's fight, referencing Confucius, but worries about Po Chu. Theo is internally conflicted. It reveals that complex web of loyalties, the pain of separation.
Alfred tries to bridge gaps, arranging a piano for Li Mei, fostering a connection.
Lydia observes his unexpected paternal qualities. Valentina remains detached. Relationships are shifting in unexpected ways.
Then Lydia makes that bold suggestion to Chang. Let's leave together.
His reaction is hopeful, but cautious. It signifies a major turning point, acknowledges the immense risks. Their future together hangs in the balance.
Lydia decides to become a communist freedom fighter, starts practical preparations, feels amicable towards Junchow as she prepares to leave.
But then she discovers Mason's diary, the affair with VP Valentina Parker, her mother.
The emotional turmoil. She replaces incriminating film with her school books, a significant act of protecting her mother, perhaps? Or just hiding evidence.
She confronts Mason about betraying Chang, about the Kuomintang troops at her house.
He denies it, surprisingly calm. Their tense final interaction at the party. The power dynamics are still there, but Lydia is no longer naive.
Valentina forcefully disapproves of Lydia's relationship with Chang, threatens to confine her.
A mother-daughter conflict rooted in fear, different views of the future. Valentina's desperate attempt to control Lydia stems from fear for her safety.
But Lydia is determined, recalls her mother's own defiance. She leaves a note, skips breakfast with Alfred, anticipates departure. Her defiance reflects her growing independence.
Then Mason makes his move, offers her $10,000 to stay, shows her the cash.
The allure is real escape to England with her mother, safety for Chang.
But Lydia has a visceral reaction, remembers Chang's words, realizes Mason's manipulation. She's physically distressed, terrified.
And then she's imprisoned in a small, dark space, a nightmarish experience. Mason's desperate bribe highlights his power, the extreme danger she's in.
Her survival instincts kick in, assesses her confinement, injuries, determined to survive. But her mind slips into blankness from sheer terror, a psychological defense mechanism.
It's a testament to her resilience in the face of extreme trauma, her ability to focus on survival even as her mind withdraws to cope.
Meanwhile, Chang is struggling to understand Theo's complex identity, his loyalties.
His dreams of Lydia become more intense, marked by both love and danger, underscores his deep love for her, his awareness of the dangers they both face.
Li Mei cares for a feverish Chang, assures him Lydia will come.
Emphasizes that unwavering loyalty and support within their circle, provides strength, comfort, hope, back with Lydia in captivity. She speaks defiantly to her captors, reveals her identity, threatens repercussions.
She endures a brutal assault that cut her hair. Remembering Chang's affection for her hair gives her strength. She realizes she fought back desperately in the dark. Her courage and resilience shine through.
Po Chu interrogates her about Chang's location, cruelty, threats.
But Lydia refuses to betray Chang, showcases her unwavering loyalty, her bravery. choosing love and loyalty over self-preservation.
Elsewhere, Captain Wog gives Chang grim news, predicts his execution. Chang struggles not to react violently.
But Feng intervenes. He wants Chang alive. He desperately pleads with Theo for help, revealing Po Chu's hiding place, reveals shifting power dynamics, a desperate bargain attempt.
Theo and Alfred plan a risky rescue for Chang.
And Leah Popkov reappears unexpectedly, playing a key role in the escape.
Leads to a tense confrontation, an explosion at the farmhouse. Lydia takes violent action to protect Chang, a chaotic climax with unlikely alliances.
Afterwards, Theo and Lydia have a strained conversation about the rescue. Theo acknowledges Leave's health.
Theo learns about the split between Feng and Po Chu and how Chang strategically used the Kuomintang to find Theo, reveals the complex, dangerous political landscape.
Lydia tries desperately to get information about her brother Alexei from his secretary.
She has a tense meeting with Alexei, forcefully asserting their sibling connection, underscores her longing for family connection amidst chaos. Lydia waits anxiously in Alexei's stark office for news of Chang's release.
Then Chang arrives, a powerful, joyful reunion. The anticipation underscores the depth of their separation.
But the joy is short-lived. Theo informs Lydia that Chang is back in prison, likely to be executed.
Alfred makes a callous remark. Valentina is insensitive, a stark contrast between hope and harsh reality. Theo's news shatters the hope of a lasting reunion.
Then the tragic news: Valentina is dead, killed in a bombing.
Her final letter reveals Jens, Lydia's father, is alive in a Soviet labor camp. Lev Popkov told her. She pleads with Lydia not to grieve. A moment of profound loss and revelation, past and present, collide.
Lydia goes back to Alexei, fiercely declares her full name, their shared heritage, Alexei Serov Fries and Lydia Ivanova Fries, demands his help.
It's a reclaiming of her identity, embracing her heritage, demanding support from her remaining family, signifies her determination to forge her own path.
Lydia waits a long time for Chang in the shed. They have an emotional farewell.
He promises to return. He acknowledges the danger he and Alexei face and Lydia's role in helping the communist cause. A bittersweet parting filled with love and uncertainty.
Police raid the shed soon after, discover Chang's escape route, orchestrated by Lydia.
Lydia says farewell to Polly, decides to leave Junchow with Alfred. She stands on the train platform, sharp clarity, holding a ticket to Vladivostok. A decisive break with her past, a journey into an unknown future.
And then that final glimpse into the future, Sofia Morozova in a Siberian labor camp in 1933.
From Furnivall's sequel, Under a Blood-Red Sky, it hints at a continuing saga, struggle, survival. The repercussions extend far beyond what we've seen, offers a glimpse into the broader historical context, suggests these themes of resilience continue.
So through these excerpts, we've really witnessed that intricate dance, haven't we? Between personal lives and the sweep of history in 1920s China.
The themes of displacement, identity, loyalty, just the sheer will to survive. They resonate so deeply.
These moments from the novel, they provide such a powerful lens to understand a complex era, filled with immense hardship, yes, but also extraordinary human resilience.
The character struggles really illuminate the impact of those major historical forces on individual lives.
And that brings us to our final reflection for you listening. In a world shaped by these huge political, cultural shifts, how do individuals define themselves?
Yeah, and how the acts of courage, connection, even seemingly small ones, how do they shape the larger course of history?
Consider the journeys of Lydia, Chang, Theo, the others. How their choices reflect the turbulent times they lived in, something to think about for a deeper understanding of these enduring questions.